Well, it's Tasha
and Levi
with Pine Knot Family Farm, and welcome back to our channel. We told y'all in the last video that we would get y'all a new video and tell you what's been going on in our lives, and that we had the 10 homesteaders questions to answer today.
Try to catch up with everybody.
Yes. First thing, we told y'all that we would tell you what we've been up to, what's been going on the last 5 or 6 weeks while we haven't been on YouTube. And I guess to answer that is, I personally got just a little bit overwhelmed.
Yeah, we had all the holidays, which I think everybody has those issues.
Yeah.
For us, and trying to get things wrapped up at work.
Yes, I have definitely, because I do all the office work. I have had lots of quarterly end of the year stuff. I've also had workers' comp audits and different things like that going on. So office work has been drowning.
And for us, we're trying to get things wrapped up before the end of the year. The construction business this time of year is really hectic because you really have to just work when you can, but due to the weather and other things that we can't control. And we do have a lot of the industry we work for that we have contracts, so we have to get stuff done before the end of the year. So anyway, we had a lot of that to deal with, but we're getting past most of that now. And again, Thanksgiving, I think, was a little hectic.
Your uncle passed away during all that.
We just
some
had some other things to issues. Anyway, it's just...
and one of the big things is, if you've watched a couple of our previous videos, or we've been talking on other people's lives, we've decided to homeschool after Christmas. So the boys have one more day left of public school. That will be Monday. Tuesday they got their Christmas parties. They won't be there for about an hour. But I have been having to really research, talk to people, prepare, figure out my curriculum. Just lots of things. We're gonna turn, well, we did turn the business office, which is in our house, into the classroom as well. So I've got that situated. You built a bookshelf for me in there, and just really making sure that I'm set to go and that I'm as organized and prepared as I can be for this new journey that we are about to start, because I know everything will be smoother and simpler if I've done that. So I've spent a lot of time making copies of stuff, because some people have let me borrow some curriculum, Amber at the Haskins Family Vlog, and I appreciate that very much. I didn't want to have to go buy anything for only one semester, so I've picked up some fillers in between there, but really just getting that organized has been huge.
And also for me, duck season is a big deal for us, duck hunting, and always has been. That's kind of, again, our off season is normally, and we do a lot of work with the game and fish, so it kind of coincides and works well together. But so that all came in there right before Thanksgiving, so we were busy with that. The boys are big enough now; they really enjoy it.
Oh, yeah.
And so the boys were off the whole week of Thanksgiving, so we pretty well were up here. We're at the river today. Y'all can see we probably in the environment. This is not the normal home.
Yeah.
This is our little getaway at the river.
Yeah.
And anyway, so we stayed up here pretty well that whole week of Thanksgiving, and took the boys hunting and did some of those things.
Hunting is it only lasts for what, like 2 months?
Days,
yeah. So
2 months,
you try to get as much of that in as possible.
So anyway, so hopefully that's enough about where we've been. And
on the questions, I got a little bit of mail call, and one of them, we hadn't really gotten much in our P.O. box, so I hadn't checked it in a while, because I really never go to that side of town,
right,
honestly. And I had to mail something, so I decided to check it while I was there, and I felt bad because it had been in there for a while, like 2 months. Yeah, 2 months. So I wanted to show y'all this. It come from Maisha, and it was just a really pretty card, and it says you put a smile on God's face, and it had lots of encouraging words. I mean, honestly, this card and the words in this card are the reason that we're back to doing YouTube. It really helped out and inspired me a whole lot. So she knows me so well and knows that I love the Amish, and going to the Amish is on my bucket list one of these days. So she sent me these 2 Amish books, and I absolutely love them. I will treasure them forever. This one is really neat. I actually read this in the last video. I said this is going to come in handy because I read it in the waiting room while we were waiting on your mom's surgery, and I kept telling you, check this out, check that out. But it is over 100 basic Amish remedies for your farm garden, lawn, and house. And this is really neat. Like, this is a good thing to have on your homesteading library shelf. And I don't know if they sell it on Amazon. If they do, I'll add that link below. I just wanted to show y'all a couple of things I thought was interesting out of it. One of them was for horse colic, you can give them a handful of cream of tartar on the tongue. Did you know that?
No.
I had no idea. There's so many good things in there. I put down tab for a few. It tells you about companion planting different broccoli, cabbage, you know, what goes well together. And let's see, there was a couple more I definitely wanted to point out to y'all. Potatoes. I thought this was really interesting. If you row your seed potatoes in sulfur before planting, it says you will have nice, smooth potatoes. Is that not pretty neat? And for nice potatoes while they're growing, mix wood ash, salt, sulfur, and lime together and put it in the row before planting, and they will be nice and big. And that's really neat because, like, you get those jags in your potatoes and they're really hard to peel and stuff like that. So, and then it has lots of things to do about Japanese beetles and mites, mosquitoes, you know, all that kind of stuff. So, thank you so much. I haven't got a chance to look at the cookbook yet, but I will probably be cooking some things for y'all out of here. So, stay tuned for that, and thank you. Next thing is this t-shirt from my girl Anna at Mimsy's Garden. She knows me all too well. It says, always in prepper mode, Mason Jar Gang. She is my canning bestie. We can and prep together, so thank you so much. This is a really, really neat shirt.
And just a little side note, Tasha did mention that she was reading the book in the waiting room. We've had a lot of good comments and questions concerning my mother and how she's doing, and we appreciate all the prayers that went out.
Yes, very much.
She is back at home yesterday and doing really well, probably as good or better than the doctor even expected. Yeah. So we really had some encouraging, good results, and thank y'all very much for all the concerns and prayers.
Yes, thank you. All right, now to get to our 10 homesteading questions that we were tagged. We were tagged by Anna at Mimsy's Garden, and this collaboration was started by Copper Kettle Farms. So I will make sure and leave both of their links below in the description. Go check them out. And there's 10 questions, so let's get started on number 1. Yeah. I have not prepared or thought about what I'm going to say. I read them to you like just real quick while ago, but here we go. Number 1 is, what got you into homesteading?
And and if anybody watch our introduction videos, I think you'll see real quick. I mean, we both kind of had interest in it, I guess, most of our lives, but probably the boys more than anything else. I mean, as far as true trying to be more self-sufficient, more self-sustaining, I really feel like that's a lost thing that we really want to pass on to our children.
Yeah. And
therefore, we have got involved in some of the things that we've got involved in, just from the aspects of giving them the experience and the opportunity to learn, because it may be a very vital, and I do believe it will be a very vital thing for them to have those resources available to them later down the road.
Yeah.
So.
And you done a garden before you met me. I done a garden before I met you. We took it to like 5 levels up. I mean, we just took it to the extreme, from just, hey, planting a little bit of.
But I think, I mean, and we don't talk about it a lot, but I think a lot of people, it's a little bit of the concern mentality. And you can say, I've heard people say that all homesteaders are preppers and all preppers are homesteaders to a certain degree, but we do want to be at least semi-prepared. I don't feel like we're the extremely prepared by no means, but we are trying to equip ourselves that if we had to become more, again, self-sustainable, that it is something that we're capable of doing. And sure enough, our sons are capable of taking care of themselves and possibly their families later on.
Yeah.
So
knowing what's going on, that if something did happen, they would already kind of fit into that role and not just be totally shocked by it, I think.
The learning curve would be.
Number 2, what is something that you want to add to the homestead in 2020?
And for me, one of the things I guess that we already started on was the meat processing area. We've already built the pavilion and done the actual foundation work to build upon. But I mean, we've got a lot more that we want to do to that. I think, you know, eventually we want to add some storage capacity there.
Yes.
I'd like to build the smokehouse later on. I've got a good friend that I'm working with that's actually got some experience and background in the curing of the meats.
And since we're fixing to butcher pigs, we're going to need that. So
we're definitely going to be falling off into some of that. I think that's the realistic goal of something that we're trying to add. Again, it's something we started in 19, but hopefully we'll have it all wrapped up in 2020.
Hopefully adding root cellar type. We've talked about adding on to our shop house. We live in a shop house, if y'all don't know that. Adding on a little bit of square footage for it, because I don't think you initially built it for a family or 2 children. So you being in the basement business,
yeah, we're talking about building a full basement with concrete top so that we can
on the new
utilize
addition.
that.
Yeah. So it'd be like a root cellar, storage cellar, safe room, which would be fantastic for me, because right now, sweet potatoes, squashes, things like that, onions, we don't really have anywhere
a good
those
area
to keep.
that's consistent, humidity and consistent climate control.
Yes. So. Another thing that we have, I think, pretty much determined that we're going to do is rabbits this spring. We've had rabbits before. They were more of the floppy-eared pet rabbits. This time, meat rabbits. And then using the fertilizer for the garden. Yes.
What is the most difficult lesson you've had to learn while homesteading? I'm starting, so you start this one.
Okay. I think it is slowing down, taking your time, learning learning one thing before you move on to the next thing. I personally can get overwhelmed to the point that I have really good ideas and I just get overwhelmed and just let it all go. Just say forget it. So definitely just taking your time to focus on one new thing at a time.
And to not get discouraged as well. I mean,
it's
hard
yes.
to really make something successful when you're spread so thin that you're trying to do 5 things when you only have the resources and capabilities of doing 1 or 2 of those things at the same time.
And we really
they're all realistic, but you can't do them all at the same time. So I think that one of the things that we talked about was, you know, find something as you want to do in addition to the homesteading is again, if you're going to do the gardening, build that up, get it started, get things, you know, to where they're manageable and to where you're actually, you know, to 80% or whatever, and before you start maybe adding animals and things of that nature. If you do too much at one time, I can see where it can be overwhelming, as she said, and get discouraging, and things don't seem to have quite the success rate when you don't have the time and ability to put into it. So really, if you can dedicate yourself to one thing, big success at that, and then move on to the next.
I mean, we would love to have a milk cow. Absolutely love to have a milk cow. But being self-employed, having a construction business, and trying to do the homesteading, I mean, we can't be full-time homesteaders. Right. We can't do what we want to do and produce like we want to produce and do all the things. So as much as we want a milk cow so bad we can't see straight, we know that we can't add that to our plate right now.
So I think our lesson learned is do what you can and with what you have, and just
you'll get there eventually.
Always try, you know, but it's
we'll eventually have a milk cow. It's just not, you know, it's not in the books right now. So
what is your favorite chore on the homestead?
Can I say canning?
Yeah.
Canning anything and everything I can get my hands on. I really do enjoy that. I actually haven't had the time to do any canning probably in the last 2 months, but that would be, and harvesting, I love harvesting the garden. Checking the chicken eggs. I enjoy the chickens. I could just sit in a chair out there and watch the chickens. I think they're very entertaining.
I think for me, I mean, which I love planting the garden. I've told her 1,000 times. The springtime, I've got kind of winter cabin fever and I'm ready to get outside. And, you know, as soon as the weather starts breaking a little bit, she always gets aggravated with me because we plant a little bigger garden every year. She finally curbed that by putting a fence around what we have, so we can't make it any bigger. But
made the rows a little longer every
I'm the
year.
world's worst about wanting more when I plant, but then when I have to deal with taking care of it, because normally again, by the time that we get to the maintenance aspect of it, our construction business has really picked up, and we're working a lot of hours, so it makes it a lot more difficult when you're trying to actually maintain and harvest. That time of year is really not the best, so that's when Tasha has to pick up the slack. And
I am so excited for the boys to be homeschooling, because we're not going to have that pressure of get in, get your schoolwork done, and I mean, I think it's going to allow us a lot more time to enjoy our homestead and really just take advantage of it. I do think one thing that you have been enjoying lately, I done it yesterday for the first time this year, is feeding the cows their grain.
The day-to-day chores. I mean, I enjoy our animals. I mean, that's what I get. Yeah, a lot. That's relaxing to me, is to go out and check all the animals and make sure they're fed, and just, again, that's what we were taught. You know, you look at your animals every day, or like, again, if we don't, we have somebody that we share with. Favorite thing to grow.
You want to go?
I mean, it goes back to the animals for me. It's any animal that we have on the farm, whether it's the chickens, the cows, the pigs. It's just, I enjoy the animals probably more than I do the garden. I think that's probably geared towards a question of, you know, tomatoes or something like that. But for me, it's more growing. I mean, to me, the animals are just as a vital part of this as the garden aspect of it for us.
I think I'm going to answer that by saying, ultimately, squash. I love squash. You know, I always get so excited for my squash in the garden. Tomatoes, I always grow tomatoes. I personally cannot just bite into a tomato or slice a tomato and eat it. You can. Right. I use mine more for sauces and preserving and stuff like that. But I would say squash and corn. Those are probably the two things I really look forward to. So number 6 is, what do you like most about the homesteading community?
To me, we've had this discussion between ourselves several times. It's just a community that's more like-minded, more comfortable, we feel, with the people that are in this community, because I feel like there's an understanding. There's a more, I guess, receptive to...
We fit in. Yeah. You fit in.
So it's just, you know, and people care about other people, and it's kind of what I feel like this country was based on 100 years ago, and it's kind of reverting back to old values, you know, that people always depended on each other, and that's what this community can do, is depend on each other. I mean, and support in other ways, but it's just seeing that there's still people out there with those old time values. Yeah,
I mean, with YouTube now, we have got 3,800 friends that we didn't have before we started this.
And we appreciate everybody that makes the comments, and we try to read them. And I apologize to anybody that we may not get back to, because we've made comments to other channels before, and you know, and I understand a lot better now how sometimes that it gets overlooked, and because everybody wants to respond, I think, to those questions and those comments, but it is overwhelming sometimes with our day-to-day life. But we are trying to do better, but it's still, if we have ever missed a question or comment, we
read it, we just took the time to go back and answer it a lot of times.
We never do it. I hope.
I actually get
anybody never's taken that negatively.
No, I actually get the notification on my phone. It comes across my screen anytime y'all leave your comments. I read it right then, but actually going and opening up the app and answering it sometimes, which I do that with text messages. I'm the worst about sometimes getting sidetracked and whatnot. So,
but it's just the support of the community, I think, and just seeing that there's still old time values out there.
Number 7 is, what is your favorite meal to cook?
That's easy. It's something fried potatoes, biscuits, and gravy. I don't care. I'm the old school, old home.
I tell him all the time, like, he could have biscuit and gravy for breakfast and dinner.
Yeah, that's
you
why
really
I'm
could.
Healthy.
Yeah.
You know, it's one of those things that, you know, some people say you get tired of the old homegrown. I don't. I mean, fried potatoes, soup beans. We have soup beans, ham, cornbread, stews. You know, soups. Those things. Those are all my. But for an everyday meal, I could fry something and have potatoes and biscuits and gravy every day, and it wouldn't bother me one bit. I don't think I'd ever get that. And a good old, a lot of people make fun of me with bologna sandwiches. I grew up, working out on the county and carrying our bag lunches, and I grew up on bologna and viney sausage and stuff like that, and I still love them today.
Yeah.
But it's more so than steak or anything else. Days I just soon have a bologna sandwich. But
mine, I guess, would be initially it would be baking. When I have the time, and I say I'm going to do it a lot of times, and then it just falls through the cracks. But baking is like a stress relief for me when I have the time to do it. As far as a meal goes, it would probably be meatloaf. I think meatloaf.
A lot of people love our meatloaf or request our meatloaf. So I think that anytime you've got something that people request, it's got to make you happy that,
it's
that
a lot easier
people
to
are
cook
enjoying it, and then they really appreciate
That's
it.
Austin's number one meal that he asked for. So, number 8 is, what is your favorite holiday?
I'll let you answer that one.
Everybody normally says Christmas, and as much as I love Christmas and I love the true meaning of it, I also think it's a time where it's hustle and bustle and it's stress, and it gets taken.
Lost a lot of meaning.
It's lost a lot of meaning. It gets taken way out of content, and it just becomes a stressful time. So I would love for it to go back to more of just you sit around and enjoy your family time. So I do love Christmas, very much so. I'm probably going to answer 4th of July. That is kind of our time. You're swamped during the summer, and it is kind of our time that we set aside, and we take 4 days or so, and we go to the lake, we watch the fireworks, and we sit around and play games, and the boys swim at the lake and jump off the boat dock, and it's just, there's no hustle and bustle to it. There's no stress of, all you do is stop and get some fireworks. There's no stress for us on that end, and we're ready for a break at that time. The garden and stuff, it just kind of, everything stops. Like if the garden don't get picked for those 4 days, oh well, I'll deal with it when I get back. But it's not stressful like Christmas is to me. And we've really cut back this year on Christmas, actually. So
I think for mine, I go back to Memorial Day, Veterans Day. And my dad was a veteran. If y'all watched my Memorial Day video, y'all know how much it means to me.
Yeah.
And again, it goes back to the country and what I felt like. Again, I was in politics at one time. I've dealt with the government, been a part of the government, and I've seen things change over the years, and it really is disheartening to know what this country was built on and what people sacrificed. And it's just important holiday.
It is an important holiday, and I think Austin would agree with you on that one. He's very passionate about Veterans Day. Number 9, is your homestead where you intend to settle? Absolutely. Ideally, I think we could probably move out of Arkansas if it wasn't for the boys and all that stuff. I honestly think we could move to Alaska and live off grid and be very
The only thing I
happy.
complain about Arkansas is the heat.
The humidity.
Summer hit.
The humidity, yeah. But, we've got 80-something acres. We've got not all the fences, but most fences up. We've kind of,
it's something that we've built up over the years that we really have got a lot invested in time and energy. And even, now, again, we're looking at how we plan things out, like Tasha was talking about earlier in the video, of doing a root cellar and doing some things that could allow us, no matter what happens, to be self-sufficient and self-sustaining. We don't know if somebody coming up and offered us more money than it's worth that we would even accept it just because we're so comfortable there.
yes.
And
That means a
again,
lot.
it is kind of what we consider home. It's where me and her have been ever since we met, and it's something that we've built up and worked on, and again, it's just part of our life.
Yeah. All right. Number 10. What homesteaders do you follow and enjoy learning from?
I wouldn't touch that one.
We are not going to specifically say any names on that because we do. I'm subscribed to big channels. I'm subscribed to little channels that have 100 subscribers to them, and I've got so many in my watch later list right now. I try to go through and watch them when I have a chance, but I learned from everybody, big, small. I have learned so many things or gotten so many ideas, or okay, we could do this different from each and every one of the channels. So in order to just say 4 or 5, I I can't do it, and then if I try to list everybody, I'm afraid I'd leave someone out, because honestly, whether it's a cookie recipe, or whether it's a canning, or planting in the garden, or animals, I have learned something and enjoy watching everybody. So,
and the thing is, we watch different channels, new channels every day, you know, so there's channels that I haven't even watched yet that I know I can still learn stuff from, because it's going to happen one of these days that I'm going to be doing some research, and that research is going to lead me to somewhere else that I haven't been. And those channels, again, some of them may be small, some of them may be large. It's just depending on what you're looking for and what you're needing assistance with. It. That's a good thing. Again, goes back up to what's the best part about the homesteading community. It's just so vast amount of knowledge out there that you can get from everybody.
Yeah.
That it's not one individual group or another that really has a corner on the market. You know, everybody has something to offer.
It's very diverse too, because like some of our subscribers, they live in other countries, and they will tell us, hey, I'm planting this now, and we're like, it's middle of winter here. So it's very interesting to see that all across the world people are doing this, and they may not be doing it the exact same way we are, but so those are the 10 questions, and we enjoyed being tagged in them. Thank you again, Anna at Mimsy's Garden. And this has probably been a little bit longer video than we intended for it to be, so we apologize for that. But once again,
be careful what you ask for. You may get more of us than you want.
Yeah.
And again, we really appreciate all the comments and all the people that have been asking, you know, hey, we miss your videos, and, you know, where y'all at, everything okay? Things of that nature. I think if you look, you know, again, like Tasha said, for everybody it gets overwhelming at certain times, and you just have to kind of hit the reset button. For us, you know, and there's a lot of things going on out in the YouTube world. We all know that, and you hear it every day, and you kind of, we've had to go back and really look at, okay, this is what we want to, you know, but we do want to continue doing it. We do want to keep sharing, and we do want to keep you know, in touch with the people that we have
to focus on our business first, because that is what puts a roof over our head. This by no means does that at all. This is more for fun, and then focus on our family. And as much as we love YouTube and everything like that, it can't overwhelm us. So yeah. All
right, well, again, we enjoyed making the video, and hopefully you enjoy it. And if you do, like, subscribe, and leave comments below and ask questions. We'll be hopefully trying to answer any questions that you might have.
Yeah, and I think after the first of the year, we're going to try to get back to doing our lives on Thursday nights at 7 o'clock. This coming Thursday is actually Case's 8th birthday, so that's out, and then the next week is Christmas, so I'm expecting 3 weeks that we'll be back to doing the lives. But if y'all have any questions for us, or anything that y'all would like for us to answer, y'all can leave those below, and if we get enough of those, we may do a video, because I'm sure when I watch channels, I have lots of questions. So yeah, just do that, and y'all have a great one. Until we see y'all next time, God bless.
God bless.
Thing is to let y'all know where we've been the last 5 or 6 weeks. You want to tell them? No? Okay.
I would if I knew.
Cut.
Because I have no freaking clue.
Alright, so the first thing is we told y'all what we... Alright, so first thing we told y'all